was in Colombia for 55 days, the longest that I have been in any of my countries, and it was a very fun time, but it's also an expensive one. Let's get into it. Out of all the countries that I've been to, I spent the most time in Colombia, literally 55 days. And in those 55 days, I did a lot of stuff. From the coast to the middle of Colombia, all the way to the border where I crossed over into Ecuador. So much stuff. And I also spent on a lot of stuff, right? But I just want to preface this video saying that what I spend is not what you spend, and what you spend is not what they spend. What they spend is not what I spend. So when you come to Colombia, your budget will maybe a little bit different. Your flight may be different. What you choose to eat may be different. The time of year that you come may be different. So, but this video just to give you a rough ballpark on what I spent, so you can get your own budget as well. So let's start off with week one, my most expensive week. My first 7 days in Colombia, I spent $497.26. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of money. That's almost $500 for 1 week. But if you factor in my flight that I took from Panama City into Cartagena, then it gets a lot less. Some highlights during my first week was I saw someone get shot. That was an interesting time.
Bro, someone just got shot.
I also went to Palenque, the first freed slave city in Colombia, and that was such a cultural experience that I will never forget. I could have stayed there for my whole 55 days if I wanted to, but I knew I couldn't do that, so I had to move on. So speaking of moving on, let's go to week two. During my second week in Colombia, I spent $296.44. I caught a bus from Cartagena to Santa Marta, and I relaxed in Santa Marta for a bit. But even before I got to Santa Marta, my bus got stuck. Also, there's a lot of noise right now. That's because I am in the middle of a bus station trying to record this video. I have been thinking a lot, and I am really trying to record and edit something every single day. And sometimes I don't get the best situations, right? Like I said, there's buses backing up, there's people yelling. Bro, it's Latin America. Everybody yells all the time. There's just so much noise. So forgive me for that. So yeah, my bus got stuck going from Cartagena to Santa Marta. But in Santa Marta, I met up with some friends, hung out and relaxed. Then I made my way up to Minca. Minca is really one of the spots that I wanted to travel to while in Colombia for its nature and for its overall vibes. And vibes there were. It's a really hippie town from what I got the gist of it and my experience of the town. Everybody's doing shrooms, everybody's, dancing around a fire, kumbaya. It was an interesting time. I've never experienced that before in my life. And so I'm glad I experienced it in Minca. Now, I experienced a lot in my week 3. So let's go there. In my third week of Colombia, I spent a total of $373.35. I took a bus from Santa Marta all the way to San Gil, the outdoor adventure capital of Colombia, and boy did I have a fun time. Paragliding, whitewater rafting, almost dying in a river, like legitimately almost dying in a river. From there, caving, just all kinds of stuff. I love San Gil. I was basically there for an entire week. I think I was there for 5 days-ish, and boy, it was a time to be had. I made YouTube videos of all of my days in San Gil, so please check them out because they are a time. In week 4, I spent $334.67. After that exciting week in San Gil, I was like, I need a place to chill down. So I went to Villa de Leyva, one of the most chillest places in Colombia. It's known for its bread, its great vibes, and the people. The people there were the nicest that I have met in all of Colombia. Villa de Leyva is a must-go-to spot. And there's the largest pottery building in the world, and it's a full-on house. Today, I'm in Villa de Leyva, home of this crazy place. I loved it. After my chilling time in Villa de Leyva, I went to Bogota, the capital of Colombia. And boy, was that a time. My highlight for Bogota was visiting the Salt Cathedral. That was probably my highlight of Colombia, if not for Palenque. Being underneath the ground in this huge church is filled with salt. Who wouldn't like that? Some people didn't like it actually, because Bogota is one of the most dangerous cities in Colombia. It's not the dangerous, but it's one of the most. And I heard tons of stories of people getting robbed, people getting drugged, people just having a bad time in Bogota. And I decided, well, I don't want to be here no more. So I caught a bus to Medellin. Week 5 was solely in Medellin, and I spent $285.15. Very cheap for a 1 week in Medellin, let me tell you that. By then, I was in Colombia for about 5 weeks now, and I was really getting like the use of pesos and how stuff works in Colombia. So I really did like it. That's kind of why I spent a week there. But at the same time, I didn't really like it, right? So when I travel, I'm a guy for culture. I want to see stuff. I want to do stuff. And in Medellin, it's really just partying. It's party, party, party every day. Every activity that you kind of sign up for after 5 p.m. involves alcohol. And you know me, I partied a little bit, not too much. But I partied there, and when I was there, it was Halloween and my birthday weekend. So of course it was a time.
Don't walk away from me. I have nothing.
Why?
She is eating that's a Kit Kat, right?
Yeah.
She's eating it not as in like, no, so show me. She eating it like, what? Are you a gerbil? That's insane. Literally, that's insane. Another reason why this week is so cheap is because I wanted to splurge on myself. So for the very first time, I got a nice fancy hotel all to myself. But the thing is, I didn't pay for it. My credit card gives me travel credits for it, and so I used that. So it was free sleeping for me. What's up, everybody? Bathroom here. Come in here. We got the kitchen here. Lovely.
Welcome to my crib.
Don't care about her. Jacuzzi in the room. Nice old tile floor. This is the room. AC. Okay. Pretty solid. And guess what? All of this was free. Speaking of free sleep, my bus is here. So now I have to hop on this bus. And I'll tell you more on the bus. Now, normally I would sleep on this bus, but I'm not. I'm going to continue on with week number 6. In week 6, I spent a total of $293.34. During this week, I made my way to Jardín, a smaller city south of Medellin. And after all the partying that I did in Medellin, I needed a break. I needed some nature. I needed some fresh air because Medellin wore me out. Jardín's known for a small culture, its lovely culture, but also its nature side. So I went to a nice waterfall, and boy, did I love it. It was everything that I needed to happen after Medellin.
I used to not like to swim in the water, but I have an hour walk back. Woo. Woo-wee. That's cold.
In that same week, I made my way to smaller, similar cities, Salento and Finlandia. They're in the Zona cafeteria spot, and it was lovely. Yeah. We're doing it on the fly, baby. We're doing it on the fly. So I made my way to 2 smaller cities in Zona Cafeteria, a coffee region of Colombia. So I went to Salento and Finlandia. 2 very similar cities, but they're known for its beautiful buildings, very nice people, and great vibes all the way around. And there, I rested some more because Medellin really tore me up, like I've been saying. This was by far one of my most chillest weeks ever. But what I did in there was not chill at all. So I made a YouTube video. It's called the Mega Vlog of Colombia, 20 Days of Madness. And it is pure 20 days of madness, to the point where YouTube rated it rated R and only allows 18-year-olds and up to see it. So if you haven't seen it, watch that one.
It was one loud bus. But we're back to the numbers, baby.
In week 7, I spent a total of $305.46. I left Finlandia and I went to Neva, which is a nice desert town. It's the biggest town outside of the Tatacoa Desert, which I enjoyed a lot. I'm a little Texas boy, so being able to be out in the desert again was everything my heart could want. It's a very vast, dry, fun place, and the people there are so nice. When I was there, everybody was just working out. They're like, "Hey, you want to come work out with me? I don't even know you, bud." But of course I worked out with them. After that, I went to Cali, the most dangerous city in Colombia. When I mean it's a dangerous city, I mean it's literally the first city that pops up on the homicide rate list. But it's also known for a lot of good things, right? Salsa. It is the salsa capital of the world. And boy, I danced and I danced and I danced. And sometimes the dancing costs a lot of money. There I have to be really on my P's and Q's, which you're not allowed to do certain things when you're on your P's and Q's. I love night walking. So in Cali, you don't want to night walk, even though I did a little bit. And so that really adds to the cost of it. But overall, Cali was one of the cheaper big cities. I would say of the 4 big cities in Colombia: Cartagena, Bogota, Cali, Medellin. Cali is probably the cheapest one. Week 8 was my very last week while I was in Colombia. I was trying to make my way towards the border. So I was left all the big cities, right? So I was leaving Cali and I was working my way to these smaller cities like Popayan, St. Augustine, Ipiales. And so I was really going south to where I am now, Ecuador. In my last week in Colombia, I spent a total of $201.25. So by far the cheapest. I was going to a lot of smaller towns where stuff is just generally cheaper, right? And then I was really like not doing as much because I was prepping for Ecuador. I was figuring out my route, where I wanted to go, how to do it, and how to cross as easy as possible. Okay, dropped off my bags. And walking at night, as you can see, the streets are very quiet. I need some food, but this is a tiny town, and I think all the food places are closed. And it's not a really big street food type place. And I think this place is kind of dangerous too, so I should really not be out here, but I think we're fine, right? I think there's a person back there following me, but who cares? Who cares? That leaves me in my 8 weeks of traveling Colombia, $2,588.42, which is, for me, that's a lot of money to spend in 55 days. And that also comes out to a daily average of $47.06. So that is, on daily average wise, my 3rd most expensive country after Guatemala and Mexico. So it was really up there. But like I said, I didn't really volunteer there, and I was go all the time in my 55 days. I could have easily did all of this in 90 days if I would have just took a lot of rest days, a lot of chill days. But I was flying. 26% of that $2,588.42 was only to restaurants. So I did not cook a lot when I was in Colombia. I would just go out every single day. And the menu del dia, the breakfast, and the dinner were all fairly priced, that I thought if I would just go to a grocery store, walk back to the hostel or hotel, cook my food, clean up, that it would just be too much.
and I was spending maybe $1, $2 more, just having someone else do all that stuff for me. I thought it was worth it. Now, after that, my second highest category was accommodations. I need somewhere to sleep, right? Maybe I really could have picked a lot more cheaper places to sleep. As in, I could have picked like $5 hostels a night instead of the 12, 13, 14, 18 sometimes. And then as well as I could have really went higher up. I could have picked the $30 hostels, the $40 hotels, the $60 a night hotels in Medellin are very nice. But I was like, I just can't do that. My third highest category is activities. Like I said at the beginning, I really did do a lot of stuff in Colombia. So it was activities after activities after activities. And I got to see a lot and do a lot as well. Those are my three most highest categories I spent while in Colombia. On the screen right now is a breakdown of everything that I have. So I have my restaurants, my accommodations, my activities, my transportation, my flights, my drinks that I went, my groceries, general, coffee. My coffee category is really bread. I'm not a coffee drinker. So that's when I would go to like panerias and I'll just eat croissants all day. That's what that section is. Shopping, laundry, exchange fees, my fees and charges, sightseeing, and entertainment. So it was, those are all of my categories that I spent in Colombia. But like I said, what I spend is not what you spend. What you spend is not what they spend. What they spend is not what I spend. It was just my budget. And I wanted to just show you, just to see if you want to come to Colombia, give you a rough ballpark of what you should spend. But that's it, guys. That's how much I spent in Colombia. I'm in Ecuador right now, so please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment on what you spent if you have been to Colombia, or what you do plan on spending, or any questions that you have. I would love to answer them. So, see y'all in the next one. Happy travels, guys.